older list.
Yeah, this is an old school list featuring 3 Jace the Mind Sculptor and no copies of Predict. That's pretty awesome.
In main deck and Vendilion Clip, that's not as common now as it has been in the past.
Right, yeah. Before there used to be that very staple 2 Snapcaster, 2 Vendilion Clip, 2 Ponder sort of list before Philip Schoeniger innovated the what we have as the classic 4 Ponder lists today.
I will say post-board, the decks are probably very similar, though, because he has the Mentors, he has the Blast, and the Fluster Storms all on the sideboard. So I think they both probably have very similar decks post-board.
What is From the Ashes?
From the Ashes.
That's a cool card.
From the Ashes is an amazing card. We'll get this in the chat. It's from Commander 2013. Or maybe we can just get it right here. Yeah. It's a Ruination-esque effect that destroys all non-basic lands, but for each non-basic land destroyed this way, its owner can search for a basic land and put it into play untapped. It's phenomenal in certain matchups like Eldrazi or
Lands.
Yeah, lands. Those are the 2 biggest matchups where From the Ashes is really good. It's also pretty good against the bug-based decks that have a lot of or very few basics rather, because you wipe their board of duels and then they have like maybe a swamp and a forest afterwards. So yeah, that's pretty good. That being said,
pretty powerful.
Yeah, probably not for this matchup, but
yeah.
I mean the rest of the sideboard with the Mentors, the Pyroblasts, Fluster Storms, and maybe even a Wear Terror too. I could see all of those coming in.
And you play this over Blood Moon just because Blood Moon can be answered and this can't.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit more powerful, but it costs 1 more.
Yeah. Blood Moon sometimes, like for example against Eldrazi, they can play like Mimics and Endless Ones, and even now they're adopting All Is Dust. We've seen Oblivion Sowers and Ugins. Those don't require colorless mana.
And then when you play Blood Moon
against lands,
it also turns off your fetch lands.
Oh yeah, that's true.
In your top deck.
Yeah, against lands there's also Krosan Grips. So From the Ashes definitely has its upsides, but not for this matchup.
Fast forward?
Yeah, let's just zoom
Something
on.
so compelling, though.
Yeah. Sometimes I watch people shuffle too.
I don't.
Alright, we're at 4 times the speed.
Alright.
2.
Alright, got some opening hands. Let's go.
Let's go.
Entreat into a mulligan.
Alright.
Entreat the mulligan. Please be good. Oh wow, so Yuya has a pretty weak hand with 2 plows, which is the hedge against, the clicks, mentors, and
Right.
yeah, and he strips it back.
Okay. Now,
yeah,
this could be game 1.
It could be.
2 plows. I don't know. Maybe.
Just based on the fact that we saw them sitting over there,
Okay.
I think this isn't game 1.
Okay.
Because they've taken down that table. So.
Okay.
Unless they brought in a weird second camera for the top 8, which I don't think happened. So.
Man, it's so convenient. This is just like pre-recorded and stuff. Being able to zoom.
Oh yeah, this is way better.
Like zoom straight through all this.
Okay, this hand's great, right?
Yeah, this hand is snap keep.
Sounds okay.
Yeah, I mean.
With the counterbalance. One has top, one doesn't.
Now the problem is.
Yuya has a planes, I think, right? So you can't cast it.
Correct. Yeah.
But top advantage is
pretty good.
Fine.
Right. Actually, no. Yuya doesn't have counterbalance in his
What's
hand.
the last card in his hand?
I think it was a Snapcaster Mage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Snapcaster Mage. So it's not impossible that Yuya can overpower counterbalance.
This is game 1.
Okay.
Oh, very nice. All right. That's great.
Get it.
I guess they because they wanted to fill up coverage time. They just don't play. Just sit here and wait.
Yeah, they might have been like that. It's like, all right, Steve can show mirror.
Yeah.
End.
All right, and this is gonna be powerful.
He has a backup, so he just goes ahead and jams here.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you don't have a backup, counterbalance is so powerful in the first game where
there are few answers and
few answers, and
Force
players
of will,
can
Council's judgment.
Right, players can. Well, you play counterbalance to take advantage of. Wow, Yuya drew Force of Will for the turn. That's incredible.
That's a good draw.
Yeah.
What do you pitch Snapcaster here, right?
I like pitching Snapcaster here.
He thinks he's debating between Snapcaster and Jace.
Right.
Because Snapcaster Predict is also going to be really good.
Yeah. I think game 1 Jace is a bit more powerful.
Yeah. And he agrees.
Yeah. But right, so you just jam here so that you can. So one of the hardest things about this.
Will.
Oh,
And
wow.
a counterbalance.
Okay.
He is missing that land though, so it looks like he's probably going to take the counterbalance and then shuffle the rest away if he doesn't need the other force.
Right.
Although the other is probably going to jam counterbalance again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
He'll have to lose the top to.
Well, he doesn't have to shuffle.
he might draw the force though.
Yeah,
We're not-
so-
what did he?
That's true.
No, he drew counterbalance. Okay.
Well, so he still has
You're
access to the
right,
force, though. He
yeah.
does have access
Yeah.
to the force.
So he also has a decision here. Oh, he doesn't have the 4th blue source to go counterbalance counterspell. So I guess he just jams here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
His hand is actually pretty land heavy. He's got
He has
3
a mountain
lands.
and a plains.
Yeah, mountain, plains, island, counterbalance, counterspell.
Uh huh.
It's pretty on
But
track.
playing holding up counterspell here wouldn't be the worst. But I mean, this ends up being the right play given the cards in Yuya's hand.
Right.
Although Yuya can force pitch predict land counterbalance, so then he's really far ahead, right?
No.
There's like no cards in hand.
Yuya doesn't have a second blue source.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that would be a very, very good follow-up.
All right, you would have no hand, but then probably still be ahead.
Right.
But given this state,
Now, here's a
he
decision.
could shuffle at the top.
There's another line that Yuya could potentially take.
So this he might be taking it. Nope. It looks like he just wants to keep the top, and he's gonna force pitching predict.
The other line that Yuya could take is just to let the counterbalance resolve.
Uh huh.
Find a blue source off the flooded strand, and then just resolve your own. But there's obviously conditionalities associated with that.
Yeah, he has a 2 on top. I mean, but your counterbalance is better than his counterbalance because you have top.
True.
So I don't hate that line of play. You just need to get a little bit lucky to dodge once.
Right.
But Yuya's saying he actually kept predict over counterbalance because he can cast it.
Right.
That's interesting. So Yuya's plan is predict, draw some lands, Jace, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other guy who doesn't have much going on is just a counterspell.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
because
he's really behind.
Yuya has
I wouldn't say either player's behind at this point, right? Okay.
Or just more vulnerable.
yeah, Yuya needs to find a 3rd land drop.
Yeah,
quite
that's what I'm
badly.
doing.
But the good news is that Atsuki has used 2 counterbalances, so Yuya is a little bit like the pressure is not necessarily there as much.
He does have 3 Jace though.
Yeah, so that's the thing that
Yeah.
Yuya needs to be aware of, though. Now the question is, what is the appropriate sequencing? What is the appropriate sequencing on both players' sides to resolve their critical spells? We see that Atsuki has a counterspell in his hand. Do you think Yuya's going to go for the Jace now, or do you think he's going to
No,
try
definitely not.
He's gonna
just
fire
going
the
for
predict?
end-step predict.
Okay.
That's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think now that he found his lands with the top, which I guess was likely to happen, then
Right.
he's in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
The other player has not been able to cantrip and he's drawn a lot of lands.
Right.
He still has 1 more in his hand.
So this will be very good for Yuya if he can go predict, it gets countered, and then
Land Jace.
land Jace. However,
Would you counter predict here though? Probably not, right?
I would not counter predict. Yeah. The reason being is that pre-board, even though Yuya has access to top right now, there are a lot of duds in his hand.
Mhm.
Oh wow! And Yuya just, I think
He
he's just,
found counterbalance as well.
yeah, he's found the actual just best cards in his deck.
It's pretty good.
So it's sort of a double bind now.
Yeah.
If you counterspell this, Yuya will untap and play counterbalance.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't counterspell this, Yuya will untap, play counterbalance, and then follow up with Jace on the next turn.
Well, the player on the right had the option to play a 5th land the turn prior and has a land in his hand. Had they had another hand in play, they could have counterspelled
Snapcaster?
and then snapped the counterspell again.
Yeah.
Both has of this.
1, 2,
Did he-
3,
did he-
4.
did he
No,
miss a land
I
drop?
don't think so because
No, I know. He kept a land in his hand last turn.
It's a plane. Sorry, he needs 5 blue sources to go snap
it's a
counterspell.
plane. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right then. You're right.
Yeah, so he is a little short, and
So he goes for the Jace before the counterbalance.
right. Jace is probably more powerful than counterbalance pre-board actually.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to come back from this, and has a force of will too. I think.
Yeah, that would be pretty
He has a force.
pretty incredible if we see.
He has access to force at least.
Yeah.
With top.
It's funny in a timed match. Concessions might be happening pretty soon, but in top 8
we're gonna
you're gonna have to suffer through this for a while.
Yeah, we're gonna see the list.
This is
oh wow,
He's in force.
Yeah, for sure.
Counterbalance.
For sure.
huge though.
Yeah, and here's the thing though. Yuya's deck is a little bit lower to the ground because it has the 1 predict, but I think Atsuki's deck actually just has more like power to the punch because it's got 3 Jaces and 2 entreats.
It's true.
True, he could still steal a win off
Exactly.
something like Entreat.
So yeah, we're just gonna see.
Yeah, he's a counterspell.
Right, more of the same. That makes sense.
Keep brainstorming, just bury them.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean that's where you want to be in these blue matchups, anyways, right? Just drawing
Especially
cards.
game 1.
Yeah. So Atsuki is asking if he has permission to resolve his divining top, and Yuya's gonna let that hit the table. I agree with this as well. Oh no,
he's not.
he's gonna counterspell it. Okay. Wow.
There's the snap counterspell.
And so we're gonna have a fight on this.
It's a pretty big deal. So
Yeah.
we have pressure on Jace.
I would have rather saved the counterspell for just one of the more important spells in the matchup, like.
I mean, yeah, they could have untapped, play their own Jace or something, or a mentor.
Yeah.
Actually, he doesn't play mentor, right? Plays Vendilion Flip. Player on the right.
It's what we discussed yesterday. Like Jarvis was mentioning, by Yuya countering this first divining top, he's committed to countering every single one of them, right?
Exactly.
And he gets very punished if Atsuki finds another one, for example. Now here's a cool line. I think Yuya might be debating playing the Council's Judgment. That's one way to get rid of the top.
He's saving that for, Jace or
Right, okay, that makes sense too, yeah.
counterbalance. So he's going to plow the...
Yeah, I think you plow the Snapcaster now. At some point, you will have to deal with the Snapcaster anyways because you want to keep your Jace alive forever. So it's not surprising that he does it now when Atsuki's mana is tapped and top is not active.
Doesn't like what he sees.
Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Spin, spin, spin. Now, Atsuki,
he's looking for Jason and Treat.
Right, for sure. Atsuki is doing a pretty good job about fetching out basics. But Yuya knows that there's no back to basics in his list, right? Deck lists are public at this point.
Defense, counterbalance, and Entreat.
Wow,
so that's pretty good.
Right.
So,
And that's actually really good because Council's Judgment
yeah,
is Yuya's answer to the counterbalance. With Entreat the Angels on the top.
it counters that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's stuff the line now, right? Counterbalance.
Yeah, just counterbalance with Entreat on
Way
top.
turn, Entreat.
Right. And this is the third counterbalance. Ooh.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Is that the second counterspell?
He needs to find like a force of will for the Entreat, and he should be set.
Right.
Bunch of lands.
Right.
Looks like he's gonna go for a shuffle.
Yeah. I actually don't mind brainstorming here as well.
I think he's just rather draw some good cards. Oh no, he's okay with brainstorming. He takes the Council's Judgment.
Yeah.
He looks at every single card because he has plenty of mana.
Yep. Now I don't like using the last mana right there. I'd much rather just fetch with the Flooded Strand first.
Because it turns off Snapcaster counterspell.
Correct.
Yeah.
His terminuses are being entered to entreat too. If
Oh, that's a good point. I forgot this is game 1, so
Right,
he'll
right,
have
okay.
a bunch of those.
Now this is a
Flying
very
around.
so Yuya actually has
he-
found
Counterbalance?
his third.
So he's going to try to lock him out on 1s.
Right.
I think he's going to just take this chance to...
yeah, his
Entreat for a
entreats here,
bunch.
hopes
Yeah.
isn't hit the terminus, and
Yeah.
Jace countertop game 1 is usually very like it's usually very hard to break out of.
Entreat's one of the few cards that it's like, if they don't have anything. Then
Right. And I think you have to do.
You got to do it now. You play around... like you said,
and
Snap
how many
Castle Age.
angels in line for
4.
angels?
Jason summons 1.
Council
That's still
Judgment
gonna be
hits the
plenty.
second, so we're 2 angels.
That's still going to be good enough.
That's still fine. You get to kill.
And
pretty
even if it
good,
doesn't win you
but-
the game, it's one of the few cards that's going to do something.
Gets right back into it.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. And he's gonna straight tap out for it.
So Yuya needs, or Yuya can't do anything actually.
Right now he can't.
So he just needs to find Terminus.
All right. So we probably lead with
He's going to top first.
yeah. I think here you need to just maximize the number of cards you see.
So would you shuffle the top away and then
Lose 3 lands?
brainstorm? That doesn't
Yeah,
work
it's
because
just
you
3
need the top.
lands. Yeah. Wow.
Well, so what if we
So if we unsummon and Council's Judgmented,
lose a Jace, we go to 9, we're facing down 2 Angels, we have a couple looks to find Terminus.
Right.
But he has no options, right? What's the card in his hand? Is it a land?
It's a council's judgment.
no,
in his
Okay.
hand.
Yeah, wow. It's tough. He had everything and then he's probably going to lose 2 Entreat here.
Entreat.
Yeah.
Is 2 Entreat more than normal? Are most people playing 1 these days?
It
1 to
varies.
0?
If people aren't playing 3 mentor in the main or 2 mentor in the main, then there'll be 2 entreats in the main.
Okay.
If there are some monastery mentors in the main, you'll see maybe at most 1.
So Yuya's tanking now. He's deciding if he wants to brainstorm to see that last card.
Mhm.
If it's a fetch line, he gets more draws. If it's a Terminus, he probably wins. But if it's a brick,
Right.
then he's facing down
Then he's
3
dead.
Angels instead of... no, he would go to 1, theoretically.
Oh, he's in a
Oh,
Fate
so-
Seal top, so Jace doesn't die? Yeah, that's probably... Or he has to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Jace would... No, Jace still dies. What am I talking about?
Jace is still going to die, but this is a way to go through the deck while taking a little
less
damage.
Yeah, a little bit
buys
less
a little
damage.
more time.
Yeah.
Is that a 3rd land? Okay, so he's going to cancel Judgment then.
Yeah, I think he...
Okay.
Player on the right must be pretty excited about that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely a good sign for.
So you kill
Absolutely.
Jace, you put him to 9,
And then,
and hope to dodge another Terminus.
yeah. Trying to find a counterspell or something would seal things up pretty good too.
All right. So this is a pretty basic attack. Kill the Jace, and then
Yeah.
yeah, Yuya's tapped out. There's no way he can do anything to prevent this, and then just deal as much damage as possible. I'm gonna spin top to see. If there's
Some
any
blue
Two
cards.
lands and yeah. 2 lands and something.
Swords
Cloud
brainstorm in
brainstorms.
hand.
All right.
Pretty good.
What's very interesting is that Yuya chose not to ponder last turn. Could he have pondered?
You couldn't have pondered and cast councils.
Oh, you would have to like lose his top in order to ponder. Yeah. Okay.
He found the ponder after the fate seal.
Right.
Alright, ponder's a good card to have here though.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Clears the
sure.
top.
Yeah.
Mountain, Force.
Flooded Strand.
It's tough.
Yeah. You just bit
I
his
think you're just dead then,
lip.
right?
I
Yeah.
don't know what his tardy drew is though. If it's
Right.
a Swords to Plowshares or something, buys him a little bit of time, but
Not that. I mean, it'll buy him one more
a turn,
card.
a
Yeah,
turn,
Yeah.
and a card, which
You can't even fetch though.
Yeah.
It's true.
But yeah, what is it? It's another Ponder? Brainstorm.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess I'll get one more card.
Ever slowly.
And I wonder. Well, he can play a land for the turn, and
Oh, you can fetch.
and
Yeah. So okay, so there's a bunch more cards. That's good.
he's got 4 more cards.
What is
Monastery Mentor? Yeah.
What's a fetch? Okay, so he's gonna brainstorm here, or he's
Yeah.
thinking about it.
And he says no, never mind.
Drum roll.
What do you guys think? You think he's gonna find it?
What are the odds?
He might.
You know, I mean, he's giving it a good healthy shuffle.
It's a 4 of, you get 3.
My theory is that the best players always have
find it.
Find
They
it.
always
He
have
did
it.
maximize every card per mana possible. So, I mean, he played it perfectly. Swords to Plowshares is not good enough anymore.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
He has Jason countertop and just loses
Yeah,
to
it's
an entreat off the top. That's crazy.
Treats
So
power.
it seems like, yeah, definitely Atsuki's list was favored game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on having that density of bombs.
Right, right.
Yu-Gi-Oh was forced to force. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the sideboards.
You
Yeah,
get
sure.
pissed.
So we'll start with Atsuki's list. We looked at this earlier. Well, what do you think you'd
Yeah,
bring in?
so again, 3 Mentor, 3 Blasts, 2 Flusterstorm, so that's what, 7 cards?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep.
And
You
then
bring in some number of wear terror, right?
Yeah, some number of wear tear can be good. It's great from coming back from behind. Let's say your opponent has, like, you know, counterbalance in play already. Wear tear, when it's fused, so just hovering.
when
over
it's fused, it's hard to counter.
Right, so it's a 2 on one side and a 1 on one side, but when it's fused together, it's a 3 all in all. So Yu-Gi-Oh would have to have like a Vendilion Click or maybe Sulfur Elemental if he decides to bring it in. We'll get into that shortly. But yeah, this is a good card for breaking up the lock. There's a lot of theory that goes around about whether you actually want this kind of card or whether you'd rather have something more, with something better at just like stopping the counterbalance from ever hitting the table.
Okay.
But I think between, you know, the Terminus and like the Swords to Plowshares and maybe even some excess lands, that there'll be enough slots to be able to fit in at least 1 or 2 of them.
Really, I don't think so. I'm looking at this list. I think you cut. I guess you cut some number of Terminus.
Mm-hmm.
So you could cut 4 Terminus and some number of plows. Okay, yeah. So I guess that is a lot of slots.
Yeah.
But you want to keep some
You
of
can
those
go land.
removal spells in the deck, right?
Well, you know that Yuya's got 3 Monastery Mentor. We could just see how they're boarding right now, too. Hold on, let's just go back up to Yuya's deck real quick and see what we got. So Yuya, his sideboard, has a Gideon, 2 Wear Tears, the Flusterstorms, the Pyroblast, and the Sulfur Elementals. So one thing that's different is the Sulfur Elementals, and given that they both have knowledge of each other's sideboard, it's potentially possible that Yuya will board out all his Terminus and bring in the Sulfur Elementals to stop the Monastery Mentors.
Yeah, that seems better. But Entreat is still a thing. Okay, looks like he actually is taking out Entreat. Or no, Terminus? Took out some Terminus.
So he boarded in the Sulfur Elementals.
I think having access to Sulfur Elemental is good. It's a way to provide pressure early, forcing your opponent to be reactive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a flash threat, so it's kind of Jace proof.
Yeah.
Right.
So the other player definitely took out at least one. Oh, no, at least one's going back in. I don't know, it's really hard to figure all this out.
Yeah.
Sideboarding is not the easiest. Greg is calling me out in the chat. Alright, so it looks like both players are shuffling up, which means they have decided what their sideboard plans are going into the next game. What's interesting is that Yuya has decided not to bring in Wear Tear.
Okay.
Which, I mean, that is both a good and bad strategy. It's good because, if Atsuki is able to get Counterbalance into play and protect it with Sensei's Binding Top and whatever counter magic he can, Wear Tear is great, because you can just remove that and suddenly there's a game again. The downside is What if Atsuki chooses not to make a move until he has like an entreat or a mentor floating on top, comes prepared for that battle, and then stops the wear tear? Well, that wear tear could have been like I don't know, a ponder, or something like a pyroblast, a flusterstorm, some other card that would help commit to the fight against letting that thing resolve. I will make one comment. Yuya doesn't have Vendilion Click in his list, right?
Don't think so.
I didn't see one. Let's just... No Vendilion Click? Yeah, no Vendilion Click. Okay.
Which is a little scary. Playing against opposing clicks seems strong in the mirror.
Right. Vendilion Click is very good because it's a flash threat that can pressure your opponent's counter magic and can also come down at the end of the turn. Oh, wow. But both players have really good hands. And it seems like Yuya's going to be
just a bunch of cantrips, right? And counter spells, which is fine.
A couple of flusterstorms, it looked like.
Now, Yuya chose to be on the draw here.
That's interesting.
That's
yeah.
cool.
We talked about that before.
Right. He's debating now whether to leave up Flusterstorm or cast the Ponder. Force of Will plus Flusterstorm is very hard to beat on turn 2.
Right, like you're not going to get anything through.
Right. The problem is, this Vendilion Click is looking very strong. Like, if you look at the hand, right, Atsuki has both Vendilion Click and Jace. I think he has a counterbalance as well. So,
Vendilion Click does a great job clearing the way for Jace.
right, yeah. So even the sequence of like, all right, click, all right, counterbalance, okay, Jace, like that's a lot to handle basically. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, flash threats are very, and control mirrors are going to be. Really
right, and given Yuya's hand, this click is either going to is going to get rid of the Force of Will no matter what. Either Yuya's going to burn Force on it or just going to let the click take it. I think he's probably just going to let the click take it.
Yeah, Pyroblast would be huge here if he had it, but
Yeah.
it's pretty weak to click otherwise.
And I wouldn't be surprised also if Atsuki decides to just wait and do nothing. Wait till turn 4, play Vendilion Click with Flusterstorm backup. Not only would he be able to secure his threat, but he'd also be able to disrupt the hand and then have a clock, and then follow up the next turn in the exact same fashion. Now, let's say Yuya somehow counters a Vendilion Click. Atsuki can also choose not to play the Flusterstorm,
Sure.
and then he can just use that to protect the counterbalance with the Jace instead. Was that a Caracas? I don't know.
I don't think they're playing that.
Okay.
Red
all right.
Blast.
Okay. Okay, you're just gonna go for it.
Yeah, I mean having
Flusterstorm back up.
yeah.
Does he have Force too, or no?
He doesn't have Force. No, both players have Flusterstorm, but Yuya has Force, while Atsuki has Red Blast.
Okay, but it looks like Flusterstorm's going to counter Flusterstorm.
Right. Now, unfortunately, Yuya doesn't have a way to capitalize on this. I don't know if he has a threat in his hand that will
Punish.
punish this. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been greedy just to jam counterbalance on too.
I think
it's
so. Like I think
worth-
you just wait a turn for the click.
You have the advantage of the
Yeah.
flash threat that will clear way for whatever you want to do.
And now he's in a really risky position.
Yeah.
Yuya is even considering brainstorming to really try and punish him, but he's just going to play it slow.
And you can see the way that Atsuki has positioned his mana: 3 for the click, 1 for the Red Blast. I don't know if that's intentional or subconscious.
Well, you tapped the fetch last. Looks like Yuya found one of his Terminus he left. Yuya is the player who needs Terminus more because the opposing player has more entreats, and the opposing player can just use like Swords of Plowshares to deal with Sulfur Elemental, I think.
Okay, that's fair. I can see that. Reason being that also, I mean, Mentor is great, but at the end of the day, I do believe Angels will trump
Mentor?
Mentor, yeah.
It just depends so much on...
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the board, I suppose, but yeah.
Actually, just judging by the deck list, I have a sneaking suspicion that Atsuki might be a little bit favored here.
more bombs, clicks.
Yeah.
Versus Sulfur Elemental.
Now he might just let this resolve.
I don't think he has anything to stop it.
He's a Terminus in his top 3, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean the body's almost less relevant than the effect.
Well, yeah, the information is what's really frightening,
true.
you know, because Yuya's hand is not good by any means, and it
But
doesn't
there's
result.
some
But if he
counter
fights
magic.
over this, then Atsuki's gonna resolve a Jace.
Yeah, it's bad both ways. The question is how much does Yuya think that Atsuki respects his hand, and also based on Atsuki's hand, how much does Yuya think it would be just the correct play for him to just keep jamming, right? Because if we think that if Yuya thinks that Atsuki is just going to jam no matter what, well, there's no reason to bluff anything because Atsuki is just going to jam, and the bluff is going to lose to the brute force play.
What's he gonna do here? He's gonna top and then brainstorm, or is he just gonna brainstorm?
I think
So either way, you have the Snapcaster flashback.
I think brainstorming first. If you're gonna brainstorm anyways, brainstorming first is not bad because you get to see a card deeper when you activate Sensei's Divining Top with using less mana too.
Okay.
Now that's interesting.
Really aggressive.
Yeah, that's very aggressive, and I actually.
So his hand is 2 Snapcaster mages now, so I think you just let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then that way you can hold up Flusterstorm. But I guess Flusterstorm doesn't counter anything.
And Yuya does not know the top of his deck.
So the other guy's going to slam Jace now, and Yuya just needs a top for a Red Blast or a Force.
Right. I will say that currently Atsuki's strategy is weak to Red Blast.
Mm-hmm.
Red Blast is very good at stopping Counterspell, or the blue counter magic, but
Yeah, I think it was greedy to Pyroblast there.
Mm-hmm.
The Brainstorm?
Yeah, I think you let it happen, hope they fight over your click, and then resolve your Jace.
Wow, and that was a really critical top deck. Being able to play the Jace.
Did he draw another Red Blast?
Yeah, he drew the Mountain. He didn't have a 5th land, so now he's able to
okay.
play Jace with Red Blast backup.
Uh-huh.
Do you have another Red Blast? He just used his Red Blast. Are you saying hypothetically?
He has a second Red
Oh, he
Blast.
does.
Yeah.
Well, then that makes the play better.
So Yuya's going to dig. What is he doing? You gotta just top for a Force or a Red Spell.
I think I would rather brainstorm. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Well, if you brainstorm though, it's not gonna Sulfur Elemental. So that's almost an answer for Jace.
Right.
I mean, it's not
But
really ideal.
It's
in
too
any
far
terms.
away.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing he could cast it right now, but he can't.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a
So
pretty
it
big
looks
game.
like he's gonna brainstorm and try to just get more ahead. Ooh, okay.
Wow.
That's 2 counterbalances next turn. And then it seems like Yuya's gonna just Terminus and then try to go Sulfur Elemental.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you're Atsuki, you don't attack, right?
No, I don't like attacking.
Yeah.
Because if you attack and then
Then
you
they flash in the Snapcaster, you have to Red Blast.
you
it.
have to Red Blast it. Whereas if you don't attack,
Okay.
flashing in the Snapcaster, you can just trade. You're not, forced to play your Red Blast. Well, even that.
Jace could go to 1. That's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
option. But you're really, like, what's the point of 3 damage here compared... Oh, wow. So...
Did he not put Terminus on top?
He did, but I don't know. I mean, Yuya's plan might change into draw the fetch land, look for a top, or maybe he'll still retain the same.
No,
plan.
he's casting the
kind of
Terminus.
behind the snap. I don't know.
But Yuya is saying that he cares more...
But it value out of snap. Than
Yeah, by getting the value out of the Snapcaster Mage, yeah.
Which I think when you're behind the way you are,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I guess that's right. It's just really sad when it's he's about to jam a counterbalance, which is going to gum up the works.
Mm-hmm. The problem is, when do you play the Sulfur Elemental? Because if you're expecting...
I think you play it...
He's going to try to
Instep.
surprise in
Yeah.
that step. I think
Instep?
that's going to
Okay.
be his.
Remember, you have to tap the top to play the Sulfur Elemental, and that's risky.
Yeah.
He didn't draw the Sulfur Elemental?
No, he drew Terminus for the turn.
Okay.
Wow.
What's Atsuki scared of?
I
We're going to set up with the counterbalance.
Yeah, no, Atsuki's gonna put. I think he should. Well, he's afraid of an opposing counterbalance, and he's afraid of opposing Pyroblast on the Jace.
He has
Suki's hand's
he has
really good, but
yeah,
it's very weak to a Sulfur Elemental.
Yeah,
Well, he's a Snapcaster Mage.
right.
That's true.
Snapcaster Mage will be able to block here.
Yeah, I think you put the useless counterbalance on top. That seems.
Now, I
And
actually...
he's holding up a lot of counter magic.
Yeah, I would rather not... So I disagree with this play, actually. I think it's better to put a 1 on top.
Okay.
Because you have both Spell Snare and Pyroblast in your hand. The likelihood that a counterbalance will resolve,
True.
very slim.
Okay, so interesting. He's gonna go for the Snapcaster instead of the.
This isn't a response counterbalance, right?
Yeah,
Probably.
And I gotta imagine this one actually is worth the blast.
Mm-hmm.
So he's debating between Snapcaster and he has all 3 spells counter the spell.
Yeah.
So he's deciding which one to use, and he uses the most narrow one, I think.
Correct. And that makes the most sense because the next spell might not be counterable by Spell Snare, whereas Pyroblast
Alright,
and other
looking
ones
pretty
will be.
rough for you. Now it's
And he doesn't have Entreat to bail him out.
find a top on Suki's side. This game gets over quick.
So we knew there was a counterbalance. Is that a Vendilion click? No,
It's like a
counterspell.
counterspell, yeah.
Right. So there's still no Sensei's Divining Top, which is
For
good.
me, I mean, for Atsuki's position, he just keeps holding up counter magic, keeps
Yeah.
brainstorming.
Absolutely, yeah.
Game's over.
I think it'll be hard pressed for you to win this, but
Well, he's gonna flash in a Sulfur Elemental, and it's probably gonna trade. Oh, he found a Red Blast for the Snapcaster Mage, but
He's a counterspell, too.
yeah, he has Counterspell, Counterbalance. He's like, well, this is my plan.
what you got? Split second. Very nice. Yeah, it'd be funny if some angels came into play. 5/3 angels.
So he's gonna Red Blast the Snapcaster Mage and
Yeah.
probably get blown out. Or even if he doesn't get blown out.
Ooh, no, but there's a Flusterstorm there. It depends if Atsuki put a 1 back on top of his deck.
Where's that counterspell still up there?
So he has Red Blast in his hand.
Right. So the Flusterstorm would trump the counterspell through counterbalance
Yeah.
because counterbalance can't copy the storm. The storm copies of Flusterstorm. It
Sure,
can only
but
copy.
he just shuffled away Flusterstorm, though.
Yeah, so he just shuffled away. So he's looking for something better, I suppose.
Well, I heard he has Red Blast. So isn't Flusterstorm the best card given that you have Red Blast?
Yeah. If Atsuki has a 1 on top, you're going to be dead, regardless of what happens here.
Mm-hmm.
So is there something you can get that isn't
Beat
the
someone
case?
on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Um.
of like a Force of Will.
Yeah, I don't
No,
know. That's,
no,
it's,
So he
it's-
doesn't have the blue card.
Yeah,
So I think
no,
Flusterstorm would have been better here, but we'll see if. Yeah, because like you guys were saying, the Flusterstorm should counter the counterspell. So. So I think this might be the first misplay of Yuya, but obviously it's super hard to see all this here.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looks like he did just have the counterspell.
Yeah.
It's rough.
I mean, the way it played out, obviously, there was.
Wow.
But like we were saying, though, I don't think there's anything better than Flusterstorm.
Right. And at this point, Yuya has no
Like
cards
the
in
one on
hand.
top.
You what? What's up?
You were the 1 on top at this point, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure, but this is end step. If you flashback a Brainstorm.
Right.
With the Snapcaster.
Now he has a
Oh, you're
brainstorm
right,
in his
you're right.
hand, so he can counter whatever
Yeah, it's over.
Yuya draws.
That's right. Too far ahead.
Yeah.
He has the top now.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if Yuya is going to concede. He's leaving Jace the Mind Sculptor on top of the deck too. Yeah, just slowly shutting down all potential possibilities here. I mean, to be fair, we still need to see an actual kill spell. Jace can complete that, but it will take a while. So it's, I mean, if I'm in Yuya's position, there's no way I'm just going to say it's over, right? Because
Well, yeah, sure.
we could still draw into like a mentor maybe, and ride that somehow.
Yeah. But it has to be something quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the number of draw steps we have is like 1 or 2.
Yeah, they're seeing just way more cards than we are.
Yeah. I'm glad we got to watch this though. So there's a 2, a 4, and
Was they're keeping the 2 and the 4 to stop anything you
Right.
does,
Mhm.
while just looking 1 card at a time or 2 cards at a time
right.
to find a threat.
And so in this situation, I think wear tear would be very good. See how it would break up the top and the counterbalance and give you a window to resolve
Yeah, but he has
something.
force already, or I guess he doesn't have force yet. But
But yeah, I think at this point
okay, so
Yeah,
he's
that's-
going on the aggressive.
that's frightening. I don't.
So what like generic answers does he have? He has Snapcaster Mage for counterspell. So he has 1 generic answer. But he also has countertop.
Yeah.
So
Right. If Yuya can find another sulfur elemental, that would be that wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, they do have a chance.
Oh, is that a council shot? Wow. Okay.
I think we're gonna see Snapcaster counterspell here.
So the question is, do you get a little greedy and try to find a 3 on top? Oh
Sure.
no. Oh no.
You don't like this card in the matchup?
I didn't see that card.
Anuraag feels really unwell. I don't know if he can finish out this match. It looks like the person with surgical extraction is gonna win.
Yeah.
So what does it do in this matchup? Counter Snapcaster Mage. Like,
Yeah, if you stop the first counterbalance,
Right.
you can get rid of all the rest
Yeah.
of them.
It's just not where you want to be.
Yeah, but it also could have just been that Atsuki feels like he has a lot of bad cards that he wants to take out.
yeah, but it's like you said though.
But like,
it's-
this is
even the
miracle
threats are
matchup.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Grand
like
Prix.
Entreat the Angels is much better than
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
He's gonna draw surgical. Would you surgical like what? Sulfur elemental? I don't know.
I mean,
No.
like,
I guess you-
wouldn't, but
Oh, okay. The card is in his hand. What does he do with
you
it?
have to. I think it just makes sense to use it though. You find the most powerful card in his sideboard and you use it. Like removing all red blasts
That's
from
why
the game.
surgical is so bad. Whenever you draw a surgical, you feel like compelled by God. You have to use it at this exact moment to get value out of it.
Right.
Well, no. Like I'm saying, what does this card do now that it's in his hand? Like
It shuts off outs. Is that what you're saying? So that's
Yeah,
why-
yeah.
Right.
You use it to shut off outs.
Gideon.
Whoa.
Uh,
I know there's a Jace on top.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
Jason Knott. That's. Oh, and he found a mentor as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Gideon would have been cute.
Yeah.
Still probably not enough. Time to scoop.
He's got attack on all angles now. Creatures, planeswalkers, countertop,
Right.
surgical extractions.
Yeah. Yeah, and one thing I don't like fate sealing your opponent
I
when
was
they have a
about to say
divine top.
that.
Yeah, you can just like scry. Well, he also wants everything on top of his deck too, so it's
Yeah, that's
whatever.
fair. That's fair. I don't know what else you would want. Yeah.
If you're casting these guys, then why are you still fate sealing your opponent? I'd almost rather just be brainstorming then.
Right.
If you're trying to win with these creatures you're casting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you're attacking on both angles. It's just it's, again, it's at the point where it's a moot point.
Yeah, yeah. I think Atsuki is so far ahead now. like that an extra 7 cards would just be lands in play, probably.
What is he looking for?
I'm not
Terminus?
Yeah, Terminus, yeah. You're putting up the good fight, read Duke style, never give in. Well, unless I guess there's time on the round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. What does Jarvis say?
So, Sneak and Show versus Miracles. Guess we knew that for about an hour now.
Sure, but still haven't
The
got
reality
there.
is closer.
It might be another 20 minutes.
Um,
Oh, wait, what just happened? He just surgical Terminus.
Oh, okay.
That's just what just happened.
There you go. There you
Value.
go.
Value.
Couldn't beat that card.
It seems like the least important one.
On this board, Terminus is...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Terminus is very relevant right now. It's the only card that matters. Otherwise, well, not next turn, but the
I
turn
mean,
after.
just like... Oh, there's still Sulfur Elemental.
Okay.
Okay, alright.
Alright,
Thank you,
there we
Yu-Gi-Oh!
go.
We're not sitting here for another 10 minutes because
Yeah.
it might have taken that long.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So yep, 8888888888. All right.
Sneak.
Winner!
Alright. I'm gonna.
So it's the Sneak and Show deck that does not have Buseiju. That
Correct.
is in the final, right?
Correct. And